first of all, thank you for coming to this interview.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, very good to see you.
Thank you so much. So I will ask some question about for those people who is interested on study abroad in high school.
Right.
So the first question is gonna be, could you share with us what you believe are unique feature of the school?
Yeah, well, Bodwell High School is a very unique school, very different than probably any other school that I've seen and that a lot of people see. The first thing is that our population is quite unique. And most of our students are from overseas, from different countries, many different countries around the world. And most of the students live here at the school, right in campus, right above us in the school dormitory. So all of our dormitory spaces are on site here in the same building. And we're actually quite close to the city, North Vancouver and then close to Vancouver as well. So that's quite unique. A lot of boarding schools are farther out in the countryside, but we're more of an urban boarding school for international students. That being said, we're a regular high school. We have grade 8 to 12.
Yeah.
Most of our students, go on to universities here in Canada, United States, or back home around the world. So, those are some of the unique properties, but very diverse, very unique being a boarding school in more of an urban setting.
Okay, so next question is gonna be, you talk about the diversity right now, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
could you tell me about us the diversity of the school, and then how does the diversity affect the school community?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, well, every year is very different. Some years we have larger groups from some countries than others, but every year completely different. So the diversity in the school is from different regions of the world. Of course from North America, Canada, from different parts of Asia, from Africa, from all South America, Latin America, all over the world. But really, within each of those regions, we have students from all over the region itself. So even say, for example, in China, there's students from the north of China, south of China, east, west, from Macau, from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, like lots of different regions all over. And that's something that our students really benefit from, is they meet people from their own nations as well, but from different regions too. And they get to learn
Exchange
a
the
lot.
culture and experience new things, learn new things.
Yeah, they learn a lot. So one of the things that we do in the dormitory is we put students in rooms, but we try to mix the cultures together. So there's some boys in a room where they might have a student from Kazakhstan and a student from Brazil and a student from Nigeria and Japan and all over, right? And so it really gives students a chance to mix together and get to know each other a little bit better.
It's really cool,
As well. But every year is different. Some years the world changes, right? The world events come and go. Conflicts happen. All kinds of different things happen in the world, and that will shift our school population. We do have some students that live in the community as well, so they're either immigrants to Canada, or they're from Canada originally, living with their family, and then we have some students that live in homestay in the local community as well. So together, it's one very diverse school, always changing.
I was just curious, how many students are in Bodwell right now?
Right now, we're getting close to 500. So, our school was about 650 or so before the pandemic, and pandemic really affected international students. So it's gone down a little bit since, but we're on the way back up, and looking forward to being back up into 500 and something, into the coming year. Our boarding spaces can go up to about 500 students. So we're excited to welcome more students to the school.
That's cool. Moving on to next topic.
Sure.
So what is the educational philosophy of this school, and then how it affected to the students' learning experience?
Yeah. So educational philosophy is, needs to meet the unique needs of the students, right? Because the students are very diverse, so we actually have a lot of different needs that we have to meet. And so that one of the things that we do is we focus on each individual student through a personalized pathway. And that's one of the reasons why we have many counselors here. Most schools have 2 or 3 counselors, something like that. We have 10 counselors on our team here, it seems like a lot, but basically each counselor really goes deep with the students to find out what they need, where they're coming in, if it's from grade 8 or grade 10, what country they're coming from, what educational background, and then what they want to do in the future, whether it's university here, back home, all kinds of different kind of unique destinations and goals. And so it's trying to create a unique pathway for each student based on what they need. That said, there's different groups of students. So for our grade 8 and 9, and then some of our 10 students, they're focused on the IB curriculum, so the International Baccalaureate curriculum, which is a worldwide recognized, very, very strong curriculum, really focused on active learning, on inquiry, on interdisciplinary learning, and project-based learning, and so on. And then the students that are coming in grade 10 and 11 who need to work on their English, and to really get their English up to speed, they go into our special classes called the AEP, Academic English Preparation classes, or also our transitional English classes, and those get students ready for the full BC academic curriculum. And so that's where grade 11 and grade 12 students are focused on graduation. They're doing the BC curricular courses. They're working toward their BC Dogwood diploma, and then eventually they graduate, go off to university, and hopefully be very, very successful. So throughout all of that, I would say a major philosophy is active. Really being active in learning, really thinking critically in the classroom, really learning how topics are connected together in a global scale, and really putting a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication into language learning, and also learning across the curriculum as well.
The last question is gonna be, I understand you talk about the difference between our school and this school, but what do you think the most biggest idea of difference between us?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is really the environment of the school, the atmosphere of the school. When students live together, when they come from a different country or even come from different parts of Canada, they're away from home, they're away from their family, and then they come here and they live together, they go through all their courses together. There's such a strong bond and such a unique set of friendships and experiences that students form over time. It really becomes like their home, right? Maybe not their first home, but their second home. And so even years later, students come back to visit us, and there's the sense of, I've come home. Here's the people that I know. Maybe all the students are different, but the staff, many of them have good connections with the students, and so there really is kind of this very warm atmosphere, very, very close community where everyone tends to know pretty much everybody else, and over time the sense of kind of being at home, being very affiliated to this worldwide global network is quite strong.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to interview today.
Yeah, good
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You were asked to design an experiment to study how the velocity of waves on the string depends on the string's tension.